What is up, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and we've got At Weeks In, the first episode of At Weeks In for the year. Last Sunday it was at year's beginning, so we're going to be kicking off the year kind of chill. It's going to be a real laid-back show tonight. Got a very few books came out, some news that we'll go over, and just kind of hang out and kick it. But before we do that, check this out. Before we get into anything, let's go ahead and give a big shout out to the channel sponsors. We got Big Time Collectibles, always doing great things. Be sure to check them out at bigtimecollectibles.com. You can follow them on social media so that you don't miss out on any of the awesome drops and stuff that they got. And then if you need anything cleaner pressed, hit up Justin over on Instagram. Let him know that you found him through the channel, or hit him with the promo code We Are Legion and take advantage of the buy two get one free special offer. So let's get into it. Tonight, Ryan is not with us. For a very, very good reason. He is getting ready to welcome the next addition into his family. Mateo might be being born as we speak. It could happen any moment. So send out all the positive vibes and prayers and all that in his direction and his family's direction, as well as Chris, the comic vet, is not going to be here despite the Bills winning. He had to go into work early tonight. So it's just going to be me and Paul kicking it Bobo. What is happening?
What's going on?
The last man standing. How's it going?
I'm like the post office.
What is going on, Las Crucias? How are you doing tonight? Comics by the Bay is up in the building. Hello, hello. Oh, you're in Florida as well. No, look at that. Stephen C., how's it hanging? TM Nerdy, what is up? What is up? Hope everyone's having a good night. Like I said, it's going to be a real chill show, probably pretty short. Do want to kick it off by letting everyone know this Wednesday at 9
p.m.
9 p.m.
9 real time.
Real time. Paul, what's happening Wednesday at 9?
We are having our final deep dive on Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Wow.
It's happening at 9 o'clock. We are going to be giving away a huge prize package that will have every single Dark Crisis issue, as well as some of the variants, all of the tie-ins, all of the Flashes and the Young Justice and the I Am Batman and the Aquaman and all of the World Without Justice League, as well as a soft cover collection of Crisis on Infinite Earths. We have that poster that you can see behind Mark in the upper left-hand corner. Behind him, that's going in there as well. All you have to do to win those is to go to any one of our videos, or go to as many videos as you can that are already out there. Leave a comment. We will be picking one of the videos, and we will be doing a comment picker. However, even if you don't leave if you don't leave a comment, make sure you attend, because we also will have another giveaway just for the people who are there live on Wednesday night. So Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern.
So we're up to, I think, 23 or 24 videos total that were installments in the DC Dark Crisis deep dive. And we're going to pretty much spin a wheel, roll a die, do something, and get a number. And that video number will be the one that will draw a comment from for the winner. So you don't want to miss out on that. Hashtag Link Squid. Make sure you put those comments on those videos. And also, if anybody's out there and you happen to have read Dark Crisis and you would like to have a conversation and would like to hop on the panel live, reach out to myself or Paul. And you're more than welcome to have a few people on there with us to celebrate the final issue, as well as talk about the event as a whole. So
and where we go from here.
Yeah. This is not it for the DC deep dives. So looking forward to that. So like I said, it's going to be a chill show tonight. This was a really small release week. It was the first new comic book day of the year. And I was expecting them to kind of roll in with a bang, and they did not. We went out with a bang. It seemed like that final new comic book day was stacked. And this first one was the polar opposite. I think I had 3 books, Paul. Now,
I have 3 too, and one of them was from last week, actually.
Admittingly, I have not had an opportunity to get to the shop and pick up my Joe Fixit #1. And I had 2 other books that came out. I can't remember what they were, whether they were Marvel or independent. I don't know. But I was able to get my DC books on Tuesday. And then, so I've got Gotham City, Dark Knights of Steel, and Batman.
My Dark Knights of Steel hasn't arrived yet, but I have Gotham City, but I have Dark Knights of Steel, Batman, and then I picked this up after you and Chris were talking about this last week. So
yeah, solid read. So I guess we can go over any there's really not a lot of shows or stuff to talk about. James Gunn's been kind of quiet on his front.
Yeah, I think the big thing I think probably, which isn't really a thing yet, is tomorrow night during the college championship game, they're going to be debuting a new Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 Quantumania trailer. That'll be
Yeah,
during the game tomorrow night.
that trailer that we have so far looks good. I think I'm going to refrain from watching a new trailer because
Mhm.
I'm sure I think I'm going to go see this one on the big screen. Might even go in 3D because like I'm hooked back into that after watching Avatar recently in 3D. I forgot how much I enjoyed that. And,
Yeah, and there's also rumors that they're Paul Rudd is just still doing reshoots, which is a little bit late in the game, but
that's worrisome.
yeah.
That's very worrisome. Yeah, that looks fun. That looks really fun. Another thing that happened this week was Avatar crossed 1.5 billion at the box office, becoming the number one highest grossing film of 2023. It unseated Top Gun Maverick. It's also the ninth highest grossing film of all time, and it's still going. Megan released in cinemas this weekend. It actually unseated Avatar for Friday ticket sales, but overall box office weekend sales still get kicked back over to Avatar. So it had a 21-day run consistently at the top for individual days, but it's still the king of the box office for weekends as we speak.
Right, and James Cameron told Chris Wallace this morning on CNN that it's done well enough for them to do all five.
All five. So they will complete the entirety of the Avatar saga. So they have all five of them already written. Number 2 is already filmed. So if you think about it,
Three is filmed.
Yeah. Number 3 is filmed in parts of number 4 that
Mhm.
script called for all the cast that they had on hand for those two. But if you think about it, that's pretty groundbreaking for one single film to cover the cost of 4 films.
Right, exactly. Yep.
So we're 100% profit margin on the third installment, whatever the title might be, and so that's pretty wild.
Yeah, and I think, this Avatar is kind of doing what the first Avatar did, and although, Megan took the number one spot, this weekend, I would not be surprised if I don't know what's coming out this weekend, but that if Avatar went back to number one or Megan fell below Avatar after this weekend and is a new number one. So because it really was kind of in the repeat views, in the longevity of it staying in the theater that Avatar one made the bulk of its money.
Yeah, and again, Megan only unseated it for Friday
Right,
ticket
right.
sales. Weekend as a whole, Avatar is still the top film at the box office for the weekend, which is crazy to think. I mean, it's not really crazy. I mean, it's to be expected after what we saw that first one do. It's pretty interesting about the fandom that surrounds Avatar. I saw a post. I don't remember. I think it was a post that was from Twitter, and it was somebody commenting on kind of the fandom and the stamina of this film. They said how it's pretty interesting how we learned that the Avatar fans are of a different breed. They don't get on the internet and fight with people. They don't defend their property. They just sit around patiently for 13 years waiting for a sequel. Then they buy a ticket, they enjoy it, they go buy another ticket, they enjoy it again, and they continue living their life until the next one comes out,
Yep.
which is unheard of for things with massive fandoms. And the first one dropped, the internet was obvious a thing, but it's nothing like it is today.
Right.
Nothing like it is today. So I'm wondering how, because there's people out there all over social medias praising and trashing anything these days. So I'm wondering if we're going to see that with this franchise now, like we have for Star Wars or the MCU or DC Comics or anything really.
Yeah, there will be those people on the internet who say that they love Avatar, but will spend the next 5 years trashing it.
Mm-hmm. By then there'll be multiple films. There billion-dollar films and stuff. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. One thing that I thought was really cool, Pop sent me a link. So when I was growing up, I used to watch a lot of old black and white horror films, not just the Universal monsters, but the sci-fi stuff. And the movie Them about the giant ants was one that I
Yes.
watched frequently. Yeah.
Shoot the antennae.
Yeah. Damn. Just that little kid screaming, like that stuck in my head. And then when it comes through the wall at the end and gets the dude who saves the kids. But like growing up, one of the cool things that's real nostalgic for me was recording films on VHS. Like a lot of stuff that would, like when Sci-Fi Channel started, there was a lot of stuff that was shown on there that just was never available for purchase, hasn't aired since its original days and stuff. And Pops would like record stuff, and we were always excited if we were home to watch it while it aired and record it, so we could pause during the commercial breaks and stuff and eliminate those from our recordings. And Them was one of those movies. It was just kind of hit. So I'm excited to see where they're remaking that, and it's the director from Werewolf by Night, the MCU
Oh,
Werewolf
really?
by Night. Yeah, he's going to be stepping up to make a feature film of them.
Oh, wow. I was always amazed at the guy that the scientist in them, the old guy, was the guy who played Santa Claus in Miracle on 34th Street. I'm like, wait, that's Santa. What's Santa Claus doing fighting giant ants?
Hey man, he's fully capable. Have you seen what was it called? Violent Night with David Harbour?
I've seen just the commercials for it. I didn't actually go
It
see
was a
it.
blast. It was really fun. That was a good movie. It was seriously Die Hard meets like Miracle on 34th
Mhm.
Street. It was a blast. He wasn't like this overpowered, just magic his way through everything. He was John McClaning everything, just grunting,
Oh,
bleeding,
wow.
and crawling through the glass. It was wild. The other big notable things, there was a big promo leak for the upcoming Flash film. So, dude, that movie, it keeps people going to be pissed when it's good. I've said
Mhm.
this for months on end now, Paul. I've said this since you and I did the fandom video.
Mhm.
Like we've like through all the crap that surrounded the DCEU, through all the trouble that Ezra Miller got in, every sign still points to, and even more so today than then, that this movie is going to be shockingly good. Shockingly good. So the director from It Part 1 and 2, I cannot pronounce his name properly, so I won't butcher it. He's the person directing it. Big Nosh is in the building. What is up, my
Hey.
dude? But they just had a promo leak for it, so we obviously confirms that Michael Keaton is in there. It kind of gives you some details on the nature of why there's multiple berries, and we also got an image which I shared to my IG, but you get to see both Flash suits in a pretty decent promo image that has both of the Flash, Michael Keaton's Batman, and Sasha's Supergirl, and you get to see in clear detail where this alternate Barry is wearing one of Michael Keaton's retired bat suits with the ears cut off of it. Hey, yeah, that's what it is. I learned that motion from you. with the ear, with the ears cut off of it, and it's just painted. And it's just painted red with a lightning bolt painted on it. But you can see like the stocky neck on it, so he's clearly gonna like that exactly. That's the motion. But he's clearly gonna have the same issues turning his head like Michael Keaton did back in Batman and Batman Returns.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think I think when they announced that they were one, they were moving it forward. Movie studios very rarely move a movie up unless they're behind it. Two, they're moving it to Father's Day weekend, so that's a huge thing. I think that it's going to be fathers and sons go out to the movies. Three, they're moving it to a weekend against a Disney movie. So to me, they have to have a lot of confidence in this. Doesn't mean it's going to do anything, but they have to have huge confidence in this movie in order for those three things to happen, I think.
Yeah, I've mentioned a couple of things before that caught my attention. I mean, numerous people read this and just glossed over it, or just continue just to be upset because of all the nature of everything surrounding the film. But when David Zaslav came in and took over at Warner Brothers Discovery, he stated that he sat down and watched all of the films that they had in whatever state that they existed in at that time. He said Black Adam was all right. It needed some work. And he wasn't wrong. He said that Shazam is okay, needs some work. He said that Aquaman, I mean, it was not really far along. He said it's fine where it's at for where it's supposed to be. He said that The Flash is exceptional.
Mhm.
The test screenings for that movie, they've done a few of them at this point. Every single one of them, that movie has tested higher than any other film that's undergone test screenings in history. Which the people that go to test screen movies have got to be people that are movie aware enough to be able to find their way into that audience. You know what I mean? That they
Right.
would have to know what's going on with Ezra Miller and have to have the same concerns, thoughts, or whatever. So for them to go in, like, of course, I mean, everyone goes in with bias, one way or the other. But for people to go sit down, especially with it being closer to the events that
Mhm.
it started as trouble, and then to walk out and say, "Damn," you know.
Right.
So there's something to it. There's some of the images that came out leaked. You get to see that there's a scene where he's running through hypertime. You see Christopher Reeve on there. You see Michael
Mhm.
Keaton's Batman, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and you see three Flashes. And one of them, suit even almost looks spiky-ish, like Red Death from the Metal series. And I think it was rumored that they're thinking that the Black Flash, the all black suit Death Racer, whoever he is potentially going to be the primary villain in this. So we'll see.
Well,
I'm hyped for it, man.
yeah, me too. I can't wait.
Brother John, what is going on? Comics by the Bay. Saying hello to everybody. Is anybody else in the chat other than Trev, the shipping guru, excited to see this Flash film still? I'm probably more excited now than I was initially getting these little teases and stuff. I'm definitely going to be watching as close as possible. And it's Super Bowl. During the Super Bowl is when they're supposed to be airing the commercial, which is very old school. So,
Yeah.
Here recently in the past few years, you get little teaser trailers for when they're going to release an actual trailer, which is weird to me. Like this Thursday, see the trailer for like, dude, that's dumb. And then it always ends up coming online before you see it in theaters or in Super Bowl commercials, anything like that. But I think that's pretty interesting if the first trailer is going to drop during the Super Bowl legit. It hasn't been proven that reverse Ezra Miller didn't do all those alleged crimes. Exactly. Very true. I'm definitely pumped for the Flash after this hype.
Definitely.
Not the only ones. Not the only ones. So shockingly, we still haven't gotten anything like concrete from the DC camp. We are past the first of the year. They have that sit down.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I mean, I think it's probably still because this is still kind of New Year's week, so and that I think is probably in some ways why we had such a little release this week too, is because if you go back, we're probably looking at either the week before Christmas or the week of Christmas for the printers. So if they're on big, it's
That's a
gonna
good point.
it's gonna take like a 2 or 3 week lag for the number of books coming out to dwindle down. So hopefully it should
So
pick up
I
again.
did notice where DC shipped like 2 weeks at once going into New Year's. So I guess that's a good point with the printers, people not being at work making books even. So
Right.
yeah, didn't really think about that. Seeing if there's anything else that I posted about that. I try to post stuff when I see stuff because I always forget. Rebel Moon, I did see where Zack Snyder's upcoming sci-fi film Rebel Moon has some concept art out for it. Now that's something that he's actively working on. I did learn where that he was in talks or reached out to or was potentially going to work on a Star Wars film at one point in time for Disney. It didn't work out, and this is kind of like a passion project from like the fire that got lit with him doing a big sci-fi epic style thing. So I'm excited for this. Those images look pretty cool. I have no clue what this world's going to be, but I hope it's vast, and I hope we get numerous installments, and it will be premiering straight to Netflix.
Aggressively Relaxing just mentioned in the chat that it's the final season of the CW Files. Big news that Stephen Amell is coming back in the final season.
Is he coming back as Green Arrow or as the Spectre?
They didn't say.
I did see the promo poster, and it made me laugh. I laughed so hard because it goes back to the last time they ran DC Fandom. The big news for the CW Flash that year at DC Fandom was they're going to going to give him gold boots. That was literally the only news they had for the Flash television show. And that's what the promo poster is for the final season, or just his boots sitting there like he ran out of them.
Right.
What is going on, Thomas Caps? Pops is in the building. When I get antsy for a new DC movie, I break out my Super Friends DVD collection.
Cannot be the Super Friends.
Did you ever watch Challenge of the Super Friends, the live action roast that the actors did?
They did two. Yeah, two when I was.
Yeah.
I actually, when it came out, I was playing basketball. I was in like a kids basketball league.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to have a basketball game that night. I didn't want to go, but my parents were making me go because of the fact that it was, I was on the team, whatever.
It was a commitment.
So what I did was I pretended I was sick all day, stayed home from school so that I could watch it at night.
Did it work?
It did.
That's fantastic. Dude, stuff didn't rerun like back then like it does
Exactly.
today. You couldn't just go look it up. You got one shot at this.
The whole Flash thing where he would just turn and go like this, and then he'd be gone.
Solomon Grundy needs a new pair of pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Pops hit it already.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really funny. Yeah, Rebel Moon, that's something I'm looking forward to. We got the Megan news. James Gunn did tease that he's working on an unannounced DC television show, which is nothing new. I'm wondering if this is just piggybacking on the news that we got earlier this year, where he's working on another Suicide Squad television show installment that it will be featuring Amanda Waller in it. I'm wondering if this is just that project or if it's a different project altogether. I'm hoping it's that project, because one thing that DC has done right, in my opinion, is the Suicide Squad. I know people are mixed on that first film, but they corrected and righted the ship, and that second film worked really well. It gave us a lot of great characters, like the introduction to King Shark. Nanawe was hilarious, but most of all, obviously, Peacemaker was fantastic. So good so that the show was easily the best show of last year, and I just want more Peacemaker, Suicide Squad. I'm just a huge fan of the Suicide Squad in general. I love hodgepodge teams. The impossible functioning dynamic works good from a consumer standpoint. It's just I just love the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, there was also a new trailer. Rendell, was that the name of it? Nicolas Cage playing Dracula.
Renfield.
Sorry, Renfield. Yeah, Renfield.
Rendell.
I don't know.
Over here. I saw Rendell in an episode of Jerry Springer once. Yeah, that Nicolas Cage trailer looks kind of hilarious. Let's see, what else do I have on here? If you're following my IG account, I'm actively trying to build it back up. It's almost up to 400 followers at this point. It's the month of January, so this is the second year I'm doing it. I'm doing the January. Last year, one of my goals for 2023 was to be more active on Instagram as an Instagram user, not just use it to say, hey, new video came out. Hey, new video on YouTube. And one way I did that was I was trying to commit to posting one thing a day, because back then I wasn't even doing that. So every day of January, I posted some of my Jang books just because I enjoy his artwork, and it was a good way to do something consistent, do something fun, and play with the hashtag participating things. So if anybody out there has any Jang books, it'd be a great month to share them and use that hashtag January. Be sure to check out my IG if you want to know how that is spelled, because there's no right or wrong way. But if we spell it the same way, it'll get populated into a hashtag thing and put a lot of our posts together. I actually liked the first Suicide Squad film. The ending was meh, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I've rewatched that film probably more than any modern DC movie from Man of Steel forward. I like it a lot. My wife when you just walk in the house from work and just might be playing on the TV, she enjoys it a lot too. I thought it was good. What is going on, Kenneth Bird? How are you? Release the David Ayer cut. I think that would be a vastly different film. I remember the first trailer for Suicide Squad before it had any of the neon light effects. That was during the infamous era of Warner Brothers interfering with their creators. Infamous era. And it wasn't limited to just their comic book films at all. It was just, man, there's just so much going wrong for Warner Brothers at the beginning of trying to create a functioning DC universe. I appreciate that, Tyler. Collecting with theirs says, popping in before relaxing for the night. Hope all our beautiful homies are well. These beautiful homies are definitely well. Yeah, thanks for your daily post. I want Red Robin's onion rings after today. Yeah, they're fantastic. We got the onion ring tower. Never settle for the short step. Oh, Green Machine is in the building. What's going on, Larry? How are you tonight? What's up? Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for news. It's going to be that's not bad. We ran half an hour on it.
Yeah, I think, the big thing, I think, for DC, if you're a DC fan, the big thing is you're just waiting for that first however much dump on, whatever James Gunn and, Sanford are going to do for what they're focusing on, right out of the gate.
Yeah, I saw probably the greatest fan cast for a young Superman from all the Superman talk, and I've forgotten this kid's name. I've never heard of him a day in my life before James Gunn let Henry Cavill go. But he looked fantastic as Superman, legit looked like him. Now I can't find it. He had a very forgettable name. My daughter has one too. That's why I call her Monkey.
You don't know her name?
Yeah. My kids have lots of names. My wife likes to name people a lot. And I'm gonna have to look this up. We're gonna have to fan cast some of these people one day on the show. Might be fun to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, just getting a couple books. Like I said, I haven't picked up my Marvel or Indie. It was still a tiny week, anyways. But Gotham City Year One, Dark Knights of Steel, and the most recent issue of Batman are the three that I did pick up and have an opportunity to read, and I was happy with all three. What were the ones that you had this week, Paul?
Dark Knights of Steel, Batman, and then Invincible Iron Man.
All right, let's start with the two that we got common ground on then.
Okay.
Dark Knights of Steel #9 dropped, and when I tell you I was right all along, I was right all along. We've been saying it since issue 2, talking about it right here. Called it. It's Martians, people.
Mm-hmm.
Like these characters are acting out of pocket, savagely murdering each other. That last issue had one of the best cliffhangers yet, when you had all the warriors of Themyscira march on the kingdom of El with all the kingdom members, or whatever you would call them, from the House of Storms, and Laura L comes out there like she's about to keep the peace, and literally just knife hands Hippolyta in half right down the middle, killing her and sparking an all-out battle. And that's where this issue picks up. We get to see that all-out battle raging on. We get to see Oliver Queen and Dinah break out of jail. They go and get Clark and bring him to bring him into the fight, as well as watching Joker with the Green Lantern ring, the Green Man. What we thought was going to possibly be like, well, we didn't really know how he was going to play out. It's a Joker after all. But it was teasing that some Green Man is a catalyst for all this stuff. Turned out to be a different Green Man, though. And we get Clark face off with his mom, and like, what are you doing? What's happening here? And it turns out it's not his real mom. The real Laura L comes down like a ton of bricks, knocks this fake character out, and it reveals to be a white Martian. Yeah. So we then you turn and you find out that Alfred is not Alfred either. Alfred this whole time has been none other than the Martian Manhunter, the real Green Man that's been prophesized, which I'm like, there it is. There it is. So we've had Martians this whole time, shape-shifting, doing all kinds of things. And John Jones, what a great angle to let him be Alfred. Like, because he's always been like the nurturing one, like how Alfred is. He's always been like, I don't know, like a paternal figure to the team that he's on. So that was just kind of perfect. So what do you think of this outrageous issue?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you probably should have known because Alfred was eating all the Oreos, but there were some really good moments in there. They weren't necessarily even the large, like, bombastic fight scenes either. There was, when Dinah and Oliver break out, and Dinah tells Oliver to, grab a weapon, and he's like, I only have, he says grab a bow. And he's like, I only have one arm.
I'm an archer. What am I going to do?
Yeah. And she's like, grab a crossbow. And he's like, oh, that's a rather elegant solution.
He's like, yeah, it seems so obvious all of a sudden. Yeah.
You did call it, but I still think that it still had, the whole moment still had a lot of, weight to it and everything. And it was still a great reveal. Because the thing is, too, is that you think, okay, you know what? He reveals Lara as the White Martian. You think, okay, you know what? That's the big reveal. But then, boom, he comes back with the second one.
Yeah, I might have called it, but it shows you why he's a writer and I'm not. Because I would have never thought to make Alfred John Jones. That was clever.
Yeah, it really was.
One of the biggest
so you get kind of like the double whammy.
Yeah, one of the biggest highlights of this issue for me was during this whole battle. The Bat is nowhere to be found, but then he rides in epic fashion, riding a dragon into the battle and just stuns everybody. I'm like, dude, that was awesome.
Right.
So this is one of those ones that if you're into the sword and sorcery stuff, if you're into Elseworld titles, this one is hitting on all cylinders with this issue.
Yeah, I almost can't believe that there wouldn't be a second volume to this. This is right in his wheelhouse.
What is going on, Scott? Yeah, it's definitely hitting. It's pretty cool how this is running at the same time as Deceased, Nightwing, Superman stuff. Like he's busy over there at DC. He's helping keep the lights on.
Yep.
And then Batman 131, which is for me was the polar opposite as the Dark Knights of Steel. Like it's the first issue in the next story arc, and we're dealing with the fallout from Failsafe. It wasn't a bad issue. It just was the polar opposite of Dark Knights of Steel in tone and pacing and everything. But what did you think of this issue? What are you expecting from this story arc?
I was
So
I
weird.
wasn't bowled over by it. What's that?
It was so weird.
Yeah, it really was. You know, I almost kind of feel like he's kind of like redoing things that other people have done. Like how many, like the first story arc was, okay, you know what? Failsafe has, is taking control of the city, which is kind of like what happened in the previous arc. Like, Gotham City was being controlled by somebody else.
And
Now
it
we've
was
sent Batman
amazing.
to this other place. We don't know where, who, or when it is, basically. And although there are some things that are different, like you have a combo, Dr. Bones, Jim Gordon character there. Um,
Not
it's
quite.
still kind of
We'll find out why in a second, aggressive.
yeah, exactly. It's still a little bit like what happened after Final Crisis. Batman was thrown somewhere. He's got to find his way back to Gotham City, which is, I'm assuming, that's going to have to happen here as well, obviously, eventually, because everything will come back to the status quo. So, he's doing tweaks on things that I feel as though have already been done in some ways.
I
Not that it's
wonder if
still
it's
not
like
good.
you did a lot of like random back reading from here and there just to fresh up on the character, and some of that is subconsciously shining through in these new stories.
Yeah, yeah. I actually kind of really like the backup story too with Tim Drake. Um, I really want to see, you know, Tim really kind of be. Okay, let's go back to the first story. Sorry. The red, um, the guy with the red. I can't think of his name now. I want to say the Red Hood, but it's not the Red
The
Hood. It's
Red
like the Red
Mask,
Mask or
whoever
something.
he was, yeah.
Do we think that that's the Red Hood in this particular?
I was just assuming it's Jason Todd, but
Yeah,
we
I
don't
am
know
too.
who it is yet.
Yeah,
My whole thing with this story, you know what vibes I
the Red
got from it?
Mask.
So, for context, what happened is Batman got shot by Failsafe in the final issue. It looks like he got dusted, but he woke up in an alley in the final page of the last issue, so we knew that he was still alive. And in this issue, we find him waking up in Crime Alley. And was that this issue? Like this is
Yep,
called Crime Alley. What was that Crime
yep.
Alley issue? Like where we go back in time to maybe that was in Detective. I read something really clever with Crime Alley. But anyways, he wakes up and he's walking around this Gotham that Batman doesn't exist in. Long story short, it's like failsafe showed him mercy by sending him to a city where Batman is needed, a world where Batman doesn't exist. And I immediately thought of Simon Spurrier's A World Without a Justice League Batman one shot.
Yeah,
I
yep.
immediately thought of that. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. He's got like Dead Man Gordon following him around with a skeleton with a mustache, like as his spirit guide almost. So
Yeah, and there's like, Justice Dent, which to me was kind of like, or Judge Dent, which is to me was kind of like a small take on Judge Dredd, kind of
I
somewhere,
got
because
the
that's
same
kind
vibe. Yeah,
got the same vibes. You'd have Selena Kyle, who's a little bit different in this world as well. Everyone is just a little bit off, to your point, kind of like, in the world without a Justice League. So, again, I'm not sure Chip Zdarsky could ever really kind of write a bad issue. I just feel like he's kind of taken things that have been done in some ways and he's just kind of tweaking them. Although, I guess some people say that there's only like three ideas that you have for stories, and every story is just a variation of one of three different ideas. So
you know, I made a bat mistake. Now's not the time for your branding, Bruce.
yeah,
Classic.
I still think Detective Comics is still the head and shoulders above for the all of the Bat
Yeah, it's
stories.
vastly superior to the primary Batman one. It's just a meatier, more thought out, more detailed, all around read. Man, I read something this week that had, oh, was it this week? It might have been on the DC Universe Infinite app that had some kind of like deep play into Crime Alley. Like, it definitely wasn't this issue of Batman. Man, what was I reading? Now it's just going to bother me. I'm going to have to figure that out after the fact. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to stay on Batman. It's Batman. I'm not jumping off the title or anything like that, but
Yeah, and in the backup story we were talking about Tim Drake is there were some real pretty good concepts in the first of all, the Toyman. Apparently the Toyman committed suicide, killed himself in the backup story. Um, I love the fact that there was a conversation between Tim and Dick, where they talk about, okay, you know what, Batman's dead, but the Jokers and the Penguins and all of your A-list villains know that he's not gone forever. He'll be back. It's all of the lower tier villains that are coming out because they think he's really dead.
to Comics by the Bay's point here. I had to pause when I started reading this because Jorge Jimenez was on the interiors for the first story arc, which a lot of people love him. That was the guy that did the interiors during the whole Joker War and stuff. And they're good. It just doesn't resonate with me very much. I mean, I can appreciate his artwork. But as soon as I started reading this, I noticed that it was not Jorge, and I had to stop and go and look because it was very reminiscent of an artist I do like a lot, Ivan Reis. And it was not Ivan Reis. It was
Mike
Mike
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne, yeah, that did this, and it was. I enjoyed the interiors in this a lot, a lot. They were very good.
Chip Zdarsky has worked with Mike Hawthorne a lot in his career. So
Hopefully, Mike
I think
sticks around.
I think he did. I think he might have done some Daredevil issues when Mark Gicchetto, whatever his name is, um, which
Lower
it has seen
tier
his
heaven.
ones.
What is going
Never
on?
know.
Awesome, but yeah, that one was a. It was interesting to see where this goes. It might be kind of refreshing, like you pointed out with that first one. We're beating Gotham to death at this point. They just need kind of to do like a more personal, like this sounds corny, but a Tom Taylor style story, like how like John Kent was written or how Nightwing's being written, where the whole city's not in danger in every single issue you pick up. Sometimes you just need to solve a crime.
Yeah,
And that's
and I
kind of like what we're going to be doing here.
and I compare the fact. Okay, you know what? Chip Zdarsky is doing. Gotham City is under siege, under siege, under siege, like he has been in past Batman issues. Um, Ram V is doing Gotham City as comparing Gotham City to Nora Freeze and saying, Gotham City is Batman's Nora and he's trying to return it to perfection, you know, but it's not necessarily always under siege. It's just, it's just a whole different
The
way of looking
eternal
at things.
battle.
Yeah.
They're dealing heavily with the eternal battle for the soul of the city. That's kind of like what Ron V is doing right now.
Mhm.
It is just such a masterfully complex story that Ron V is working on.
Mhm.
Yeah, just a different level style to it. But next up, keeping with Gotham City, Year One from Tom King. This book is fantastic. This book absolutely won me over. And we were talking last week when we were playing catch up on a lot of these titles. How I was telling everyone that I was absolutely blown away by how they ended the last issue. The whole premise of this is Bruce Wayne's great grandparents' kid is kidnapped, basically like Lindbergh baby style. Slam Bradley is hired as a private detective, long story short, to help retrieve the child. And in burning the candle at both ends, all kinds of stuff's happening. Failed attempts at ransom payoffs, all kinds of stuff. And it looked like they found the child dead at the end of the last issue. And Ryan mentioned, having not read this one yet, that he's thinking maybe that's just a MacGuffin, that it's Slam just burning the candle at both ends and made a bad judgment call. Nope, nope, nope. That was her. They found
Mhm.
the child dead. Absolutely blew my mind. I did not expect them to follow through with it. But what this book is kind of focusing on is the event that ruined Gotham. Like it was never the same after that. And it was, in fact, the death of the princess of the city, basically. Like at the time of this book starting, Gotham City had a ridiculously low crime rate. It was a safe place to live, blah, blah, blah. And after this event, this story that's being told, the format in which it slammed Bradley on his deathbed talking to Batman, who he knows is Bruce Wayne, just letting him in on all the stuff that Slam is aware of from his lifetime being associated with the Waynes, just wanting Bruce to know about everything in his family's history before he's gone, before all those memories go to the grave with him. So it's formatted good. It's got me in the feels with that little kid dying. Slam Bradley's tough as nails, old school private detective. But it's fun, man. Phil Hester is doing the artwork in it, which lends perfectly to that private eye kind of stuff. But yeah, I have heavily recommend this one. It's only 6 issues. This is number 4, so it doesn't have long left.
Yeah, I haven't actually read it yet, so it's on my. It'll be in my delivery next week.
Just ruined it for you.
No, that's all right. Don't worry about it. So maybe the baby will end up traveling through time
Might be
and have
okay
to
by
work
the
its way
time you
back.
read it. Yeah, might be okay by the time you read it. So you didn't
My
go back, like you
third
said.
one was the Invincible Iron Man, which you and Chris talked about last week. I know that comic companies like to say this a lot, that this is a perfect jumping on point, but this is a perfect jumping on point. Um, they sum
Absolutely.
up in a lot of ways. They sum up the Invincible Iron Man from astonishing, whatever it is, to now.
Kill with suspense.
Tells us Spence, all right, to now. Um, which makes sense because the story here is called the autobiography of Tony Stark. So this is part one of that. But again, it really does. If you knew nothing, if you had never picked up an Iron Man comic book, you could jump on here and you would know what was going on. And it was kind of cool the way how he even goes through, when then I own this mansion and it became an Avengers thing, and then I don't own that anymore. I think it's like an Avengers theme hotel now, and
We're in the tower. Yeah.
yeah,
One thing to the next.
exactly. And then so he goes through. You get the history at the kind of at the beginning of the story through the first half, and then at the end he's suddenly attacked, and he's attacked, but no one knows. Sorry, the last place that he's living blows up. Okay,
Yeah, he was
don't know
living in
why.
like just a little apartment where he was doing some small time working on suits and everything, and it blows up, killing some of the other residents in the building.
Right. And then he agrees. There's lots of cameos too. There's She-Hulk is in there as well, and he basically just tells her to pay off anybody that comes forward and files a claim. Um, but then he's attacked by a person that he really can't tell who it is because they have modulated their voice. And eventually, when he manages to, um, uh,
Subdue.
yeah, exactly, it's some dude, whatever. But then apparently he falls off the wagon at the end of the
No, I
story.
said subdue, not some dude. When he subdued the
Yeah,
attacker,
right.
yeah, he
Yes,
pops open the modulated
right,
voice and the suit and finds out that it's a victim. It's not even an
right.
attacker.
Right, he's because the victim is has a tube down his throat, and he's basically been controlled by whoever is controlling the suit.
Yeah, so
Um,
whoever's after Tony took a seemingly innocent person, stuck them in a torture chamber that was remote controlled, and attacked Tony with him. So
mhm,
Tony's sitting here laying into this guy to put him down fast, put him down hard, because Tony's reeling emotionally, dealing with the anger of someone attacking him and the collateral damage around him. So he puts this guy down hard, and the dude was feeling it, even
right.
though he couldn't scream for help, stop, nothing. It was kind of like a damn moment. So
Mhm,
that now they got Tony again. Gotcha.
yeah. And so
Yeah, he fell off the
he
wagon.
goes to an
Yeah.
AA he goes to an AA meeting, doesn't say anything, but it appears as though he's fallen back off the wagon again. So we'll see where that goes as well.
Mm. Definitely interested in it. I'm definitely picking up issue 2. I mentioned this before. The last time they kicked off an Iron Man jumping on point, I tried it. I love the character Iron Man. I do not love Chris Cantwell writing Iron Man. I love that it had Alex Ross covers, and because of that, I stayed on far too long. But I eventually dropped it, and I'm happy to. Oh, why was it raining? I'm happy that they jumped it off with this series. I forgot. Is this Gary Dugan? Duggan?
Jerry Duggan.
Jerry Duggan. Kudos to him. What is going on? Roscoe stopping by to say hello. Hope everyone had a great upcoming week. I'm going to do my best. I have 2 more days off after today. I'm really excited. I have
What?
no clue what I'm going to do with my life. I don't go back till Wednesday.
How did you possibly manage that?
I gave myself paid time off. Well, I get paid time off. I just rarely ever use it. So this is a string of 5 off days, only having to take 1 paid day off to make it work. Because I was just, I get those every couple weekends, get a 3-day weekend. Then I'm off on Tuesdays. So if I just take a paid Monday off when these happen, 5
There
days.
you go.
Managed to get all my Christmas decorations down. Made a lot of videos. If you're a channel member, you saw where a couple of them posted today. There's a couple more that are on unlisted status because I'm not sure when I'm going to release them. So I don't want to put up all the early members videos all in one day when they're not going to hit the channel for potentially a couple of weeks, because there's stuff coming in the mail tomorrow or Tuesday at the latest, Paul, that I'm really excited to unbox. I have two big CGC unboxes coming, both scheduled to arrive Monday or Tuesday. So I'm hoping that if those get in, I'm going to record that and post that video ASAP so I can get some stuff put it behind me and poke my chest out and be excited.
I wonder what that could be.
I think Roscoe has a clue for everyone.
Yes.
So yeah, one of these big boy books is Superman related. Another one is going to make a lot of people laugh.
Really?
Not this guy though. Not this guy. Paul, you actually know what it is. I actually mentioned it last Wednesday
Okay.
on Guess That Key after the show was over. I mentioned that something that we were talking about, a book that we were talking about that day. I said I've actually also purchased it in a CGC slab. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm going to have those two, and that's between those two books. That's almost a $1,000 unboxing with what the FMV is on those things,
Yeah.
which is pretty impressive. Like I'm
Yeah.
very excited about that. And then yeah, I got my goals for 2023 video that will be going up on the channel tomorrow that I posted for members. First just first mail haul of the year I recorded, and that'll be coming up this week as well, unless that CGC unboxing pushes it. But I had some AOKs included in that from some amazing community members, like really thoughtful, really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Those are nice. Those are really nice when those happen.
Yeah, very thoughtful. Mr. Chip Getler was one of them, and you know that guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
He's one of the best.
he really is. The world would not be the same without people like Chip Getler.
Mhm.
But I don't really have anything else to really harp on tonight, to be honest with you. It's a small release week, small week for news. I hope everybody had a happy new year.
Yeah, and in regards to like even TV shows, we're kind of in that lull until you know tough over the holidays.
Now, I've been binge watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia for like the 30th time. That's where we're at with shows. But it never gets old. Never gets old. When is the next TV show anything that kind of got some hype around it, some steam around it?
And I would say probably The Flash, probably, and then it
Wow,
comes out,
really far.
and then Lois and Superman and Lois comes out in February.
Yes, yeah. Is it February for that or
I
March?
believe so. I think it's February.
Dude, that last season was something. That was just a fantastic show.
Yeah,
I'm
he'll have a
almost certain that'll be the last season.
yeah with a brand new kid.
New actor. It's still John Kent, but yeah, this is probably going to, as long as they don't replace Jordan, Jordan's
Right.
the one. Yeah, he's irreplaceable for that show.
hmm And we'll
Well,
have not that I'll be. I mean, I'll probably watch the first episode, but just to see what it's like. But Gotham Knights follows right after the first episode of Flash when it comes back.
no, I'll probably check to see what's going on with that. I'm thinking that's one that my wife might get into or might enjoy. She watches a lot of those CW style shows, whether they be Netflix shows or something else. But that's one that I'm curious how it didn't get the axe early on. Like that show doesn't make any sense
Yeah,
at all to exist.
totally agree.
I wonder if people are even going to be in proper suits in that, because from all the images I've seen, it's just people just wearing street clothes.
Yeah, yeah. To me, I mean, I'll watch it the first one to see what it's like, but I'll admit that I currently have a very low bar set for it.
Well, you have this magical ability to normally enjoy something on some level or another. So hopefully you can pull it off. As if it's decent, we're gonna rely on you to be able to tell us what's going on with it. Taking one for the team. Yeah. So, well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up for tonight. Short, simple, and to the point. Hope everyone's having a good new year. Be sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to go over and subscribe to Sector 2815 this Wednesday at 9 o'clock. The season finale of the DC Comics Deep Dive featuring the Dark Crisis finale will be live starting at 9 p.m. We'll be talking about Dark Crisis issue number 7 as well as the series as a whole and drawing for the winners of these mega prizes. So, yeah, I hope everyone has a great night. And until next time, as always, I'm Mark, but we are Legion.
Wow! How awesome!
Whoa, the real Power Ranger, Finn.